walking out one evening late. The moon was rising high. Headed for
All right, welcome back. It is time for another episode of the Built by Vitality podcast. My name is Steve Pinkerton, and unfortunately, I continue to sit next to Mr.
Philip Lewis,
who we're going to talk about thinking for ourselves.
A lot of people don't do that.
No. But before we do, I find it interesting to me that so many people are drawn to you. I don't know why.
Do you mean it's a bad thing?
I don't understand it. So you know the first thing my dad told me when we got done, it was we got back from our little trip, and he said, "Hey, I can't believe you're going to make Philip eat that piece of liver."
Oh, God. Exactly.
He said, "What's in it? What's in it for you? Like, what happens if you don't get it?" And I said, "What do you mean, Dad? Why are you taking Philip's side?" I don't understand it.
Good.
Like, people just immediately see you, and
maybe they feel sorry for him.
I don't think it's a pity thing. I think you're just a likable person. I don't understand it.
Thanks.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, look,
Morgan don't either.
Maybe Morgan needs to be on here, and I can understand. I just need to figure this whole Philip thing out.
She has the opposite view.
So many people are like, "Oh, don't be so mean to Philip. Don't do this. Don't And it's like, what is Philip?
I don't think it's a lot of people. I think it's like Jess and your dad.
No,
That's
my mom.
And your mom. Yeah,
my dad. Jess is always like, Charlie's like, "Why are you so mean to Philip?" And the reality is, I'm not mean to you at all. I am someone who is trying to get the best version of Philip out and working out on the bike.
You know what I did before this?
What?
I paid like 3 times.
See?
Because I know you wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
So you made me a better person. Yeah.
So before we get into this, if someone would like to comment on what it is specifically about Philip, is it the sleeve tattoos?
I don't think that's it. That's probably scary to some people.
Is it the too clean shaven beard that doesn't make sense because it's kind of like rugged mountain man meets GQ model? I don't know. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me.
Oh gosh.
So anyway, that's for another story. But back to this, thinking for ourselves. There's been so many things that has triggered this for me, and it's a slippery slope, because right now, when we find ourselves having issues, we look for someone else to tell us what to do, tell us how to solve it, instead of just saying, "You know what? How do I get myself out of this? I'm going to figure it out." And this could be, something as simple as, I was riding to the gym on a Sunday, and I had Charlie with me, and she asked me what day it was, and I said, "Well, hey, what day do you think it is?" And she said, "Just tell me what day it is, Dad. I don't know." Yeah. And I said, "Well, what do you mean you don't know?" I said, and she got very flustered with me, but I said, "Well, tell me the days of the week." And by the way, Charlie's 8, and I feel like she knows her stuff, but she's lazy sometimes with this. So she named me the days of the week, and I said, "Okay, so narrow it down for us. We're going to the gym. When do we usually go to the gym?" She said, "The weekend." I said, "Okay, it's the weekend. So what days are the weekend?" She said, "Saturday or Sunday." I said, "Okay. Was there church today?" She said, "Yes." "What day does church fall on?" She said, "Sunday." I said, "Have you figured out what day it is yet?" She said, "No." I said, "Child, was there church today?" She said, "Yes." "What day is church?" She said, "Sunday." And I said, "Do you understand?" She said, "Oh, okay, it's Sunday." "Well, you should have just told me that, Dad." And it sounds simple. It sounds stupid. And what happens is we enable these kids to quit thinking for themselves, and we just give them the answer because it's easier. Yeah. It would have been easier for me just to say, "Hey, it's Sunday."
Sunday.
But then you think about it, like, what happens now? We reinforce that someone's always going to be there to say, "Hey, I'll just give you the answer."
Or it might have been better if you'd have messed with her and just told her it was the wrong day on purpose. To really mess with her. But hey, it's Tuesday. She's like, well, Dad, I'm supposed to be at school, but oh, we're not going today. Just mess with her.
There's a reason why Philip doesn't have kids yet, and this could be one of them. No, but yeah, okay, I like it. And then they learn.
She's like, no, it's not. And she'd figure it out.
I said, well, how do you know? You didn't know.
I'm not at school today.
So I think that there's that, and then the other end of this is, I complain about technology all the time, about social media and all this nonsense. But the flip side of that is, you can find the answer to anything online. Mm-hmm. And we don't need to ask people how to do something. Just figure it out. I go back to the story about you learning how to do pictures and do videos. And you weren't that good at it.
No.
But you could have said, okay, well, I'm just going to, I can't find anybody to teach me and show me, so I'm going to do something different. Or you just spend some hours, instead of watching The Real Housewives or whatever it is that, you actually do probably watch The Real Housewives.
I watched a couple episodes of the first season. They were pretty hot. But then that was it.
Oh, man. So, but you did your own research.
Yeah.
You figured it out. And is there something to say for doing something on your own? It's got to be somewhat rewarding.
Yeah.
You are self-taught.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've gotten some help from people.
I think I've done more YouTube and internet hours than somebody would go to school for 4 years for photography or something. I've literally, if I'm in the bathroom, bed, eating, whatever, spare time, I just look up stuff on my phone for what I do because I just like it and I want to figure more out.
And you think about it. Let's say you go to school for something like that. I'm not saying school is overrated. It is, but somewhat. But they're teaching you. You're behind.
Yeah.
By the time you get out, you're behind. So by you going to YouTube, sure, you've got to be able to siphon through the people that you want to learn from and not want to learn from, but it's real time. It's what's working right now. Mm-hmm. By the time you learn about the advertising funnel on Facebook, a year from now, it's going to be something different.
Yeah.
And you have to relearn something else. So
I can pull up YouTube right now and search something I want to know, and somebody probably posted a video on it last night.
Yep.
2 days ago.
So that's the other thing. We've got it at our fingertips, and our kids, we as business owners, as entrepreneurs, as employees, we can figure it out. I was not going to bring this up about my wife, but I will. I will. She is not amazing at Excel or Google Sheets.
Man, sorry, Jess.
And it's just one of those things. When the nutrition challenge comes around, she's amazing at everything except for the Google Sheets part of it. I mean, she posts on Facebook every day. She has a ton of content. She answers questions faster than anybody I've ever seen in my life. She's constantly immersed in it. But when it comes to how to add a column or how to center something, it's like you might as well be written in Chinese. Yeah. And I'll teach her and I'll say, hey, let me just show you how to do it, and then you can learn how to do it, and then you'll just always have it, So I think things like that it's just, that was my fault, because what did I do? For 11 years, I just did it for her, and I just now started to say, hey, let me show you how to do this so that when January comes, you don't have to depend on me being available, because a lot of times, I can be a overbearing OCD a-hole, and she'll always come and see me in my office, and I've got like 16 things I'm trying to do.
I think you just answered the question about why people think you're mean to me. Indirectly. Put that in the comments if you agree.
I was hoping you were going to disagree with me, but Philip just sat there silently nodding his head like, yes, you are. Right. But, so I think I just constantly just did it for her because I didn't have the time to try and teach her. And that falls on you as well. When someone asks you for help, you can do it in a way that actually gives them the knowledge that you have instead of just doing it for them. Yeah. I think teaching is a big part of, that's why we love jiu-jitsu the way that we do, because Steve is an amazing teacher. He doesn't just do something and then says, hey, just Just do it like that. Just do it like I did. What's your problem?
Yeah.
Which
he'll throw that in there. He doesn't stop with that.
After he shows us 34 times and we still don't know what we're doing, he's like, okay.
He's like, well, this is just the basics. Yeah. If you can't get this right, I'm like, okay.
My 13-year-old could put you in this right now, and I'm like, okay, here we go. But yeah, I mean, that's the reason that we enjoy it, is because we're learning. The knowledge is so addictive for us. But it's like that. It should be like that to everything. Yeah. Whether you are picking up books and reading books or listening to audio books, I don't love leadership books over and over and over again. I like find something you want to learn and spend some time learning about it. What I see in the business world in CrossFit, in the fitness side, is you'll see these big groups, and they'll put in a group chat. They'll say, "Hey, does anybody have a waiver I can use? I'm new." Wait a second. Yeah. Why are you going to use my waiver that's 17 states away because you're too lazy to come up with your own?
Yeah.
Hey, do you have a set of policies that you have for your gym, or what is your binder for your executive team? What does that look like? Well, wait a second. Mine is going to be different than yours. You're going to have to design that for yourself. But we've become obsessed with having somebody else give us the tools for that, because we don't want to waste our time doing it. And here's where I think this could be a good thing. I see a lot of people will post, "Hey, do you have a recommendation for a plumber?" Mm-hmm. And I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah,
that's different.
If you've never had a plumber before and they're like, "Man, I need somebody to good work. They ain't gonna screw my house up," or whatever. Okay,
and I get it. But here's there's such a fine line for that. What if you say, "Hey, Steve, you went to Destin with your dad. What do you think I should do when I'm there?" Well, wait a second. I went with my old man who's 70. I'm the last person you want to take on vacation with me, right? And you're going to ask me for my experience, like, what do I think?
Do what you want to do.
I think you should be as far away from people as possible. And I don't care about going out to eat. I think you should get someplace where you can eat in. So why were you looking for my input? Yeah. My input's not going to apply to you. Why wouldn't you look for yourself and say, "Hey, here's where I want to go.
Here's what I want to do.
What do I think I should do?" So again, these may seem like little, they're small little pieces of it, but they all feed into this bigger problem of creating a society that doesn't think for itself, that just wants someone else to say, "Hey, here's what we're going to do. You should do it too." And the majority rules. Wait a second. I want to teach my kids that they should question everything. If it does not make sense, they need to question it. Yeah. And they need to figure out how to find their own answers. That doesn't mean turn on the TV and listen to someone on TV tell them. It means, hey, if you want to learn about something, then research it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a doctor to research it. We can find information and then make a determination on whether the information is correct enough for us to believe it. That I think is a skill that we are losing quickly because everything is so moves so fast that we forget that we create this complete dependence on others to constantly provide us the information and the answers.
Yeah. It happens all the time.
And I come back to what we have going on right now with the pandemic and masking and vaccinations, and it's just this constant battle of back and forth of who's right and who's wrong. It doesn't matter. We should be able to think for ourselves and make our own decisions, and what someone else is doing does not matter. It should not matter to you.
Yeah.
You make your decision, and that's it. Same thing goes for business. I cannot base my business decisions off of a company that is in California that I'm like, oh man, that they're killing it. Let me just do what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're in a completely different area, completely different region with a completely different demographic of clients.
Yep.
So I think we need to question everything. We shouldn't blindly follow anyone unless you're in the Marine Corps.
Then
I'm kidding. I mean,
well, you kind of have to.
Yeah. But that what the Marine Corps taught me was, I was, as an officer, yes, I was in charge, but I was never going to be blindly followed. There was always going to be a checks and balances, and that checks and balances were the senior enlisted Marines that if and when there was something that didn't make sense, they came and asked me.
That'd be way better than having a bunch of yes men.
Yeah, and that's why the Marine Corps is so amazing, because there's some changes going on right now, and it's unfortunate, but I still believe that the Marine Corps is the greatest military organization in the world, but there has been a fear associated with questioning authority, and that was never what the Marine Corps was founded on. The Marine Corps was founded on, hey, the best idea wins, and that can be from a private or a general. It does not matter. Mm-hmm. Now, there's got to be some tact used in that, and maybe that's where we're missing the mark a little bit too, is the tact part of this. But it's the amount of money someone makes does not have to do anything with the level of knowledge they possess. And I think that's a misnomer that, because an athlete makes $100 million and has 20 million followers, that he is or she is somebody that is a source of information that we should listen to. That's not the case. There's a lot of people that don't make $100 million that maybe make $50,000 a year, that are brilliant people that have great ideas. Mm-hmm. And what happens is they kind of get lost in the shuffle.
There's a better person in general, but they're not in the spotlight.
Think about that. Not to get off on a tangent, but you think about actors and actresses. Mm-hmm. How do they make their money? What are they doing? They're pretending to be somebody else.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. Yeah. So they get millions of dollars.
They're good at acting,
pretending to be somebody that they are not.
Yeah.
But yet they have this huge platform and a voice that echoes through all of our society.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a second. They make their money pretending to be somebody else. Do you think? I mean, that's always been amazing to me, that the type of platform they've had. The other thing that we got to be careful of with these kids. These kids are obsessed with athletes, and I think everybody loves everybody loves sports, or I guess, how can you not love sports? Yeah. Those people probably don't like dogs, or they're probably cat people or something. Can I not say that?
No, you can't say that. I would agree, but you can't say that.
But think about this. How do you think they became the best table tennis player on the planet? How'd they become that?
That's all they did.
That's all they did, right?
Yeah.
So do you think, hypothetically speaking, if you're the greatest table tennis player of all time, you probably play a lot of table tennis?
Yeah.
You think in your free time you're just doing some research and watching the news and keeping up on politics and all that type of stuff?
No, you're table tennising.
You're playing table tennis.
You're doing it.
You're playing whatever sport it is that you play nonstop. That's what you do. You live, eat, breathe it.
Yeah, you're not going to get better at it because you idolize that person and watch their stuff.
Yes. And now all of a sudden we assume that because they're so great at this, they must be smart, and we should listen to them about whatever platform they're using. Mm-hmm. It's madness.
Say Eric Thomas, the hip hop preacher.
Yeah,
he said something one time. They said, everybody knows LeBron's stats and this guy's stats, that girl's stats, but they ain't got no stats. He said, they just know everybody else's, but you ain't got none of your own. Yeah. He's like, quit worrying about theirs and build some of your own stats.
Yeah. One of the problems that we find ourselves in is our value matrix is different. So it's upside down. We know who won the World Series, but neither me nor you could tell who won the Nobel Peace Prize in the last 5 years. No. Not one. Mm-mm. And when you stop and think about it like that, this is a really backwards society that we live in. We've placed so much emphasis on entertainment. Mm-hmm. We miss that. We're missing the people that are actually making an impact on the world. So
the Braves went and didn't impact the world.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it did.
It impacted Atlanta, probably.
It did. It did. Yeah. And there's just a lot that goes into teaching these young people that they need to be able to think for themselves, and they need to be able to make decisions. And I'm not saying they can't consult other people. I'm not saying they shouldn't ask their parents. But as a parent, it's too easy for us to just constantly provide our kids with the path of least resistance, so that they have this, quote unquote, amazing life, this amazing life as they grow up, the amazing childhood. What they need to teach these kids is, man, the world is a very difficult place to navigate, and you need to learn at a young age that it's not all unicorns and rainbows, and you're not always going to get it your way, and you have to figure out how to navigate those situations. And if you're constantly looking for somebody else to do that for you, pretty soon you're going to look around and there's nobody there. I don't have Philip there to guide me and force me to make the right decision. I'm going to have to make the decision for myself, and now I'm not going to have the confidence to do that because I haven't been doing it my whole life.
I had somebody tell me the other day, they said that every morning, and this isn't, I think it's good and bad, but they told me that they tell their kids every morning, I think it's in the car, at the house, wherever they're at, they do affirmations or something. So they're like, and they have to repeat it after each other. You are beautiful. You are strong. You're the best. You're the whatever. I think that's good and bad, because at some point when they get older, if they get used to doing that all the time and they think that way, at some point, what if they're not the best at whatever they're trying to do and they don't get picked or whatever it is? I think that's bad and good. I don't know if you should do that all the time.
I don't know. I think
because you get a job, you go for a job to apply somewhere, and you're like, I didn't get it. I thought I was the best. I thought I was the smartest. I thought I was the.
I think self-confidence can go a long way.
Yeah, it has to be both.
And I think that, I've heard a lot of people get up and they journal in the morning.
Yeah.
And I think that could be very, very healthy and helpful for people. And the affirmations, it might work for some people. You look at a guy, probably something not down the line you're talking about, but you look at like a Diego Sanchez in the UFC. He was somebody that as he's walking to the ring, he's literally yelling at himself that I'm the greatest.
Oh yeah.
Hyping
himself up.
And he's and they said, I remember listening to, even Steve said it. He talked about the self-confidence that man had kept him in fights that he shouldn't have been in, because he was so confident in his ability. And he lost a lot, just like anybody would. But I think that would probably argue for, having those affirmations to at least you go in the interview and you're like, hey, I got the best chance possible, so you're confident about it, versus going there scared and timid and shy.
I ain't gonna get this. You're being
I'm
negative.
Never gonna get it. And that's a big pet peeve of mine, is when my kids or people that I'm around are negative before the opportunity or situation even comes up. They're like, I'm never gonna do this. I'm never gonna be that. And I'm like, wait a second. If you tell yourself that, or this isn't going to be fun at all. If you and I are going on a trip somewhere, and we're like, man, this is going to suck. Well, the first time that we have one little sliver of bad luck, we're like, see,
I knew it.
I told you.
Turn around.
I knew it. I knew this was going to be a terrible trip.
Yeah.
You're the worst travel partner ever, But if you said, hey, man, this is going to be a ton of fun. And something happens and you're like, not at the end of the world. Hey, we'll be good. It's everything is perspective. And if we can be independent thinkers, who's a great independent thinker that I listened to the other day that I haven't heard speak in years? Mark Rippetoe. Coach Rip was a legend in CrossFit when I first got started. He was this unbelievable coach. And I honestly, I'm embarrassed. I don't know the whole story. I know that there was a falling out, I believe, with him and Greg Glassman. But I listened to a podcast he did the other day, and he's somebody that I listened to him speak, and he's such a interesting person to listen to, because he's super cerebral, smart guy, an amazing coach, and he's all about thinking for yourself. He's all about it. Same thing with Donnie Thompson. Donnie Thompson, I think, finishes every post that he does on Instagram with like, lifters, you got to think for yourself. Be your own coach. Yeah. Stop looking for somebody else to give you all the answers. So a lot of these people that have been super successful, they understand that they've got to figure it out for themselves. Mm-hmm. Now, am I saying we can't go out and collaborate with other smart individuals? Absolutely not. Go do it. You should be doing that. But what I'm saying is, when it comes time to build a website for Vitality Media, did you have someone come and do it for you?
No.
Oh, what'd you do?
It took hours to try to figure it out. I YouTubed it, Googled it, paused videos, did something, played
and what if
them
someone
back.
said, well, I don't have that much time? Okay. I mean,
it just takes longer.
It just takes longer.
Yeah.
We live in this place where it's immediate gratification. It doesn't have to be immediate gratification. You're not going to just flip a switch and all of a sudden you're in the Matrix and you get the little thing uploaded in your head. Now you know how to fight and do all this stuff. It doesn't work
really
like
cool.
that. That'd be amazing.
Really cool. Remember white belt to black belt.
Amazing.
You're just done.
Amazing.
Man.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying I would do that.
Oh, I would do that for sure.
I'd feel bad about it. But
I would not feel bad about it. I put everything in there, man.
But that's not how the world works. The world works in a way that, it rewards patience. If you can play the long game, financial, trust me when I tell you, you will not make it. You will not be that overnight millionaire. You'll know somebody that does, and that's the worst thing that could happen for you because you'll be four layers away from somebody, but you'll be able to see what happened to them. You're like, man, that's amazing. I wish that would have happened to me. And then you think it's possible, so you make decisions based on these quick turn. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work. You've got to think 7 years down the road. Hey, this is the outcome that I want, and I'm going to put this procedure, this in place, so that I can get to that goal that I have 7 years down the road. And the problem that people have with finances is it's that shiny car syndrome, that shiny object. They do great for a year or 2 years, and they've got a decent little chunk of change, and they see something that they just can't live without, and they're not willing to sacrifice what they want now for what they want later on. And it's interesting because another smart guy that I listen to a lot is Brian Strump. He's a chiropractor that owns a gym down in Steel Creek, and he posted something yesterday that made a lot of sense. It said, most millionaires or financially free people live a very humble lifestyle. They live in normal homes, drive normal cars. They don't have crazy spending habits. Yeah. And
usually they don't stick out. You don't know it.
That shouldn't surprise people. He compared it to that's like being surprised that someone that is super fit spends time eating right and exercising. They got that way because they were financially disciplined their entire life. That's why they have the financial freedom. Mm-hmm. There are people that they can have nice cars and fancy houses and all that type of stuff, but the majority of your financially independent people, they've got there because they've been super disciplined, And so I think that there's a lot of truth to, and here's the thing with that. That's not the norm. Those people are absolutely independent thinkers. Yeah. Because the norm is, hey, I make more money, I get cooler things.
Spend more money. Yeah.
When you make more money, you spend more money. Guess what? You're not making any more money because your disposable income stays the same. You're just spending a lot more money. Yeah. So I can go down that rabbit hole for a while, but we're not going to do that. For those that are keeping track, 25 days until Philip eats raw liver, and I just figured out a liver source, and we have 10 pounds of liver coming our way. Well,
was it Brent? Brent told me he ordered some.
Brent ordered some liver, and he's going to give me 3 pounds.
Brent's the last person needs to order liver. Yeah. He had an upset stomach from eating a salad the other day. I said, don't make no sense.
Yeah, Brent, he runs our EvoFit program here. He's been here forever. He had a rough day the other morning. So my point is, I think we'll have about 9 pounds, 11 ounces of liver left once he takes his first bite.
Yes.
So we're going to have plenty of it in here, and it will be raw.
Well, yeah.
It'll be raw, bloody.
Man.
It'll be right in front of us. It'll be, it'll be great. So I saw the doc last night, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm. I passed him, and we talked for a second, and he said it looked great.
Yeah.
He said, someone with impeccable fitness level like myself could easily recover from this in 6 weeks if I've been diligent with my care.
You told me it flopped one time, didn't it?
That was 4 days in, so I might have lost 4 days.
Now. You're
but
good.
I actually make Philip help me wrap it because it's like, it's kind of like playing Operation.
You have like 3 days left. I'm going to help you wrap it, and I'm going to bend it.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for that. It should be that'll be probably one of our most watched episodes. But
goes back to the beginning of this podcast.
It does.
Why you mean to me? Why you make me do that stuff?
Because I'm making you better. I've really made you. I have made Philip who he is today.
That's true.
That's
true.
Yep. Guys, I hope this makes some sense. I hope that you can look at this and and understand. I joked around a lot about it, but the bottom line is we need independent thinkers. Those are the leaders that we need right now in business, in our home lives. This is what we need. And we need our kids to be independent thinkers. We need our kids to question things that don't make sense. And I'm not talking about, this has nothing to do with politics. I'm talking about anything. I'm talking about anything that doesn't make sense. They need to question it. They need to do their own research. They need to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And I think we can all learn a lot from that. So until next time, it's a Built by Vitality podcast.
And if you need to know something, Google it.
Google it or ask Philip. He's like a Google machine.
No.
Yep. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day.